Oh, the Rocky Balboa news is fucked up. Welcome back, everybody. I've been gone a little while. This news is crazy. If you haven't already heard, we are getting another Rocky movie. This time, Rocky will be portrayed by a black female. We're going to go a little bit more woke with the franchise this time. Because let's face it, after 40 years, it's time to get away from all the stuff that the Rocky films never really needed. You know, the male testosterone. That's not what we like these movies for. We never wanted to see men fighting and being toxic. That's not what this shit's about. So, Rocky will be portrayed this time by a black female. No, I'm fucking around. It wouldn't surprise me at this point, but I am definitely fucking around. That's not what's happening. However, this is still a fucking shocking film anyway, because Stallone just said a few short months ago after Creed 2 came out, he said he's retiring the character for sure. And he kind of gave a whole story about how after Rocky Balboa in 2006, his intention was absolutely to retire the character, and that was the ending he wanted for him. And then Creed came along, and they really wanted Stallone to be part of it, and he needed some persuading, but obviously he did it. Creed was huge, so he did Creed 2. And Creed 2 gave him such a great send-off for the character of Rocky. It was really a good send-off with the way that film ended. So it made sense that Stallone, at like 71 at the time, would say, okay, now we're really done. You know, this is 8 films of Rocky. We were going to be done after Rocky 5, and we're going to be done in 2006 with Rocky Balboa, but now for real, we're done. Short time later, a few months later, he's not even thinking about it. It's apparently a done deal. They're on it. This is happening. It's to my understanding, this movie is in production now. And they are doing a Rocky 7 or whatever they're going to call this. I will always, like many of us, take more Rocky. I'm never going to say I don't want another Rocky movie. But this is weird because, again, we've had some really good send-offs. Rocky 5 was not a movie people really liked, but it made sense as like the end of a series. It made sense that this is the last time you'll see the character. And the way that they handled the credits and the way that they kind of reflected back on the series and the music they chose and everything, it made sense. It gave you the feeling that Rocky 5 was it. And at the time it was going to be back in 1990. And then again, Rocky Balboa kind of did the same thing. There were a lot of messages there, a lot of symbolism, a lot of decisions made to show you this is the final chapter in this man's life. We've seen him do all these different things. We've seen him get married, have a kid, win the title, lose the title, win it back, come out of retirement. We've seen all the things we need to see, and it made sense that Rocky Balboa, in many ways, should have been the ending of the franchise, even though many of us, and I'm a fucking huge Stallone fan, would like more. Then we got Creed 1 and 2, and I thought, now this is perfect. This way, the Rocky movies are over, but we still get more Rocky. It was kind of the best way to keep the franchise ended properly, and yet at the same time, still give us more and then see kind of like a couple of epilogues as to what the character would be up to post, you know, all these things he's been through, the multiple retirements and losing his wife and everything else. So this idea that now he's going to be training an immigrant. For those of you that don't know, that's the story here. Rocky's going to be training someone again. This is the third time we're going to see him training a young fighter. An angry young fighter is the way they worded it. And he's got a different spin on it now. It has to do with the kid being an illegal immigrant and things like that. So there's going to be kind of, I guess, a political angle to it and kind of a different take. But I got to tell you, I don't think this is the way to do another Rocky movie. Again, I want more Stallone. I want more Rocky. But this is a weird thing because it's not really contributing to the whole arc of this man's life, of this whole telling. Rocky Balboa ended things in a way where you kind of go, okay, he's going off into the sunset now. You know, and it really made sense. All those story arcs were wrapped up. And now we've got so many beloved characters that are gone, right? Adrian's gone. Burt Young's character, Paulie, is gone. Mick's been gone for a long time. Apollo's been gone for a long time. There's really, you know, with the Creed films not even having the characters from Rocky Balboa in them. Little Marie and her son Steps, who kind of became Rocky's new family in Rocky Balboa, they were nowhere to be seen, and it was pretty evident they weren't in his life anymore. So I kind of feel like, geez, his story is done. There's so much here that's done. that if they really want to tell this story of Rocky training a young immigrant, it doesn't seem to me like that should be another Rocky movie. It should be a subplot in Creed 3. And I know that sounds a little weird because, well, Creed 3 is about Creed, but I do think that's what should be going on. Kind of like how Rocky was training, he was teaching some kind of classes or getting all these young people fit or something in Creed 2 that was alluded to a little bit. I think that's the kind of thing that should be happening here. Make it a subplot. Make it so we cut away from Creed's story in Creed 3 and occasionally see what Rocky's doing for this young upstart, and maybe involve Creed in it a little bit too. Creed's got some occasional advice for him. Give us that. So we see Rocky in one generation, and then Creed, who's now been the heavyweight champion for a while, and then give us this new young immigrant. So I think that would be probably a better way to handle it. It wouldn't give us as much Stallone as Rocky, but I do think it's better than kind of sabotaging the Rocky films a little bit, because again, we got that great ending. And now what? Does this become the new definitive ending to the Rocky series? Do we get all the same hype we got with 5 and 6, where this is the last time we're going to see Rocky? Or does this one kind of end in a way where now we're going to get more sequels? Does this become a trilogy? I mean, it's really open-ended. Granted, Stallone has worked his way through obstacles like this before, where, I'll tell you, even going back to Rocky 3, people were thinking this is going to be really weird when at the time it was announced that his new trainer was going to be Apollo. People were saying that's crazy, that's not going to work. Totally worked. Stallone is no stranger to taking on really strange concepts and making them work, and making us believe them and love them and talk about them for decades. So in many ways, I'm just going to say, you know what, it's going to work. But at least for right now, I have no fucking idea how, because this really sounds weird. So we'll see what can happen here. Hopefully, if this is going to be the bookend, if this is really going to feel like the final chapter in Rocky's story somehow, that it's going to feel, if it's going to feel like a send-off, then really they're going to be done after this. Maybe he reappears in more Creed films, but I just hope we don't keep getting this, okay, now it's the end. Now it's the end. Now it's the end. Because that's going to disturb the franchise. It's going to disturb it when we try to look back on it years from now and notice how odd it is that the series keeps ending and then somehow getting a little bit more life. Remember, it was back in 1990, 30 years ago, that this all was supposed to be over with. And I'm so glad it wasn't. But again, I don't want him to stay too long at the party. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm real curious to see what everybody's thinking about this. You know, has there been a bad movie yet? I know a lot of people will say Rocky 5, but do you think he's already overstayed his welcome? Do you think he should keep the shit going? Let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'll talk to you guys soon.